Sam Konstas is the name on everyone's lips at the moment. The prodigiously talented teenager has been receiving more and more attention lately for his remarkable achievements with bat in hand. And just recently, he completed his rapid rise to the top of the game, receiving a call-up for the Boxing Day test in the current Border Gavaskar Test Series. But who is Sam Konstas? And how has he risen up the ranks so quickly that he's already received the call-up to the national test team at just the age of 19? Sam Konstas was born and raised in New South Wales, and his cricketing talent was on display from a very early age. Playing for St George Cricket Club, Konstas made his first ever century at just age 10, and a few years later he was breaking all sorts of records. In St George's 2021-2022 premiership winning season, he managed to score 795 runs over 10 innings, which was a club record and the second highest in the history of the competition. Konstas also became the highest run scorer in the history of the competition that season after making 1,670 runs over 4 years and 32 innings at an average of 64.23. The previous record was set 70 years prior by Ken Eastwood, who managed to make 1,590 runs at an average of 60.76. Following this remarkable season, Konstas then recorded a century in all 5 grades of New South Wales Premier Cricket and both underage competitions. Konstas also made his mark at the Sutherland Cricket Club, where he broke the club record for most runs scored in a single season. Following this amazing season for Sutherland, Konstas was then selected in the under-19 Australian squad which toured England in 2023, and during that tour he certainly made an impression, scoring 105 not out off 120 deliveries in Australia's second ODI, as well as another impressive knock of 84 not out in the second innings of the first test. Moving back to club cricket, in November of 2023 he cracked hundreds in the under-21 Poitevin grade competition, a New South Wales under-17 match and a first grade game for Sutherland, all within 7 days. All of these remarkable achievements eventually saw him make his first class debut for New South Wales just a few weeks after his 18th birthday. He didn't instantly excel at the high level, however it wouldn't be long before his name would be in the cricket world's attention. Being one of the brightest young prospects in Australia, he was selected in the under-19 Cricket World Cup team, and while his performance was a little bit inconsistent throughout the tournament, he did have one standout game where he scored an incredible 109 runs against the West Indies, showing that he has what it takes to play at the professional level. If it wasn't already the case after this knock, then later on in 2024, Konstas would announce himself as a young superstar in the Sheffield Shield. Playing just his 5th first-class match, Konstas opened his account for the current Sheffield Shield season by becoming the youngest player since Ricky Ponting in 1993 to score twin tons in a Sheffield Shield match. This double-up not only confirmed that he was a future test star in the making, but also put him firmly in the conversation of becoming Usman Khawaja's new opening partner ahead of the upcoming test series against India. Following his fantastic start to the Sheffield Shield season, Konstas received the call-up to play in the 2 Australia A vs India A matches leading up to the Border Gavaskar series. In these 2 games, he would bat alongside other contenders for that opening spot, being Marcus Harris, Cameron Bancroft and Nathan McSweeney. In the second of these 2 games, Konstas managed to score an impressive 73 not out in the second innings. However, it was not enough to receive a baggy green, as ultimately Nathan McSweeney won the race. From here, it was back to work, but it wouldn't be long before he would get his opportunity to shine again, and put in arguably his best performance to date. After the first test match in Perth, the annual Prime Minister's 11 game was held in Canberra, where a select group of young and upcoming Australian players got to take on a nearly fully strength Indian team which had just decimated Australia in the first test. The team was missing Bumrah, however outside of that, it mostly resembled the Indian team which played off in Perth. After the first day of this match was washed out, it got reduced to a 50-over game, but this was no issue for Konstas as he blasted his way to an incredible 107 off 97 deliveries, and some of the shots he played in this innings were just incredible to watch. The PM's 11 did go on to lose this game, however Konstas was rewarded with the Player of the Match award for his stunning century. Not long after this, Konstas made his debut for the Sydney Thunder in the Big Bash League, and what an impression he made in that game. For a lot of more casual cricket fans, this was their first opportunity to see Konstas live, and what a show he put on. He scored the fastest 50 of any Thunder player in the history of the Big Bash and also became the youngest player in the BBL to post a half century. This performance showed that not only was he a test batting prodigy, but he also has potential to become a brilliant all-format player for Australia. Now, after he was not initially selected to open for Australia this summer, it looked like he may have to bide his time before he could break into the team. However, this all changed when the Australian selectors decided to drop McSweeney after only 3 test matches and elevate Konstas into the squad. Now, as of recording this video, the playing 11 for both teams hasn't been finalised, but it is all but guaranteed that Sam Konstas is going to open for Australia in the Boxing Day test against India. And what a remarkable achievement that would be. If he gets selected, regardless of how he goes in his debut match, it would cap off a remarkable year of cricket for Konstas. So with all this hype around Sam Konstas, what can we expect from him in the test arena? Well, it's important not to place too much expectation on him too early, but I think he has the skill set and confidence to thrive in this series and going forward. He currently averages 42.23 at first class level, striking at 51.76. It's a pretty solid average to have at such a young age, but it is nothing overly exceptional. Of course, that average doesn't include the Prime Minister's 11 game where he scored 107, but perhaps more important than his average is how and where he scored his runs. In that first Sheffield Shield match earlier in the year, he was able to play quite aggressively in the first innings, striking at 63.07 on his way to 152. However, in the second innings, his strike rate was well down as he had to really grit his way towards that second century, and I think that shows some real class and an ability to adapt to the conditions, which is definitely important at test level. And of course, that 100 he scored in the PM's 11 game was super impressive as well, not only because he was facing an international bowling lineup, but also because his team was collapsing around him. He had to stand up while wickets were falling around him and the pressure was right on, and he was able to do that with exceptional confidence. One thing that definitely should be noted, however, is that Jasprit Bumrah, like I said before, wasn't playing in that game, and that is a very big caveat to that innings. Not taking anything away from Konstas, but Bumrah has been insane this test series. He's currently averaging under 11 and is India's leading wicket taker of the series. He's now taken over 50 wickets in Australia as well, so he likes the Australian conditions and he is on a tear at the moment. Arguably the player of the series as we stand right now alongside Travis Head. So it is going to be an even bigger challenge when he goes up and faces the new ball against Bumrah. Now, I believe that we're going to see some pretty aggressive batting from Konstas in this first test match. He himself has said that he wants to play aggressively and put pressure back on the bowlers. So far, our 2 openers in Khawaja and McSweeney have really tried to just knuckle down and blunt the new ball as much as possible. McSweeney, I think, honestly did an alright job at that. Without going on and making any big scores, he was at least able to soak up the strike for quite some time. He faced over 100 balls in Adelaide when he made 39 runs, but I think that Konstas is going to play quite a bit more aggressively than that. Perhaps we need him to, because David Warner was obviously an extremely aggressive player. He liked to keep rotating the strike and trying to score as fast as possible. So perhaps it's important to get a more like-for-like replacement for David Warner, obviously other than the fact that Konstas is right-handed. Now, this plan he has to play aggressively could easily backfire considering that he is still very young and inexperienced, but if it does come off and he's able to score some decent runs, then Konstas could become a very important part of this team, even in the near future. But whatever happens, I say good luck to Sam Konstas. I hope to see him play well in the Boxing Day test, and I think he is going to be a star of Australian cricket for years to come.